employment-related insurance claims. And you're thinking, really, what are we talking about this for? Well, there's an article on LinkedIn at the moment and written by a good friend of mine, Peter Lynch, who's the National Manager for Real Estate for Aon, the insurance brokers. Fabulous guy, really clever, been in insurance, actually I won't say how long, it's just like forever, because that makes him sound really old, and he's probably watching, so we won't say how old. But his article actually looks at, and so guys, have a look at it. I will reshare it on the college's LinkedIn page, so look for it there as well. But it's Peter Lynch, Lynch, and his article goes into the number of employment-related claims against real estate agencies and principals has grown exponentially in the last 5 years. That's his heading on his article. And you think, oh, wow. And the fact that he's linking it to real estate agencies means we need to read it. And you know, these sorts of claims are really expensive to defend. And so here's where your insurance kicks in, obviously. They're hugely time consuming and they certainly create negative feelings amongst the rest of your team. So whether the claim's coming from an ex-staff member or a current staff member, or, you know, whether it's, you know, a number of staff against another staff, you know, it's always very, very difficult to manage. And, you know, they can be quite damaging depending on the type of claim to your brand, your reputation, your standing within your local community. So really important to have your policies and procedures around all of these issues. Excuse me again. The four most common employment-related claims against real estate agencies and the real estate licensees in charge, or the principals, the owners of the agencies, obviously are around unfair dismissal, they're around sexual harassment, they're around discrimination, and they're around sham contracting or fake contracting. So, you know, the majority of agents, you know, in terms of being a small to even medium-sized business, don't have the luxury of employing an HR professional to deal with staffing issues, as most, doesn't matter whether you're in property or not, most small businesses don't have that luxury. And, you know, I'd almost go as far as almost all. But it's really important then for business owners to provide their employees with a written employment agreement or a contract. So guys, you know, if you're in real estate, that's really easy. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. You contact REEF, which is the Real Estate Employers Federation, and become a member and use already tried and tested employment agreements there. And they clearly set out the real position description at the commencement of the employment. It sets out the expectations. It sets out the type of behaviour, what the employment relationship is about. You know, and as part of all of that, every new employee should receive policies and procedures, but not just at the time they're employed. It's really important that you revisit these. So, you know, every year, revisit them, have at a staff meeting, relook at the you know, your HR or your policies and procedures around you know, employment conditions, and have input from everybody, and you know, then, you know, update that as the new version for that calendar or financial year, however you're doing that. So really important. Some of the tips that Peter Lynch puts into his article in terms of how to, the prevention tips, really, the risk prevention tips that he looks at. You know, that Aon certainly recommend as an insurance broker, certainly that you have up-to-date policies, as we were just saying, in terms of dealing with bullying, sexual harassment, anti-discrimination, and grievance procedures. And remember, when it comes to grievance procedures, the supervision guidelines issued by Fair Trading and linking in with Section 32 of the Property Stock and Business Agents Act says we have to have written procedures around complaints, and that's internal and external. So it's financial, it's general, and there's internal there as well. So, you know, it's not just for your customers here. You actually do need to have these policies and procedures. You need to induct new employees into the agency's policies and procedures. So any new employee, it's part of their induction process. You need evidence that you've done that. Otherwise, you know, any case that is against you, that's the first thing they'll be saying, you know, do you have the policies and procedures, and did you induct that new employee, and, you know, get to talk to them about that. recognise if there's a complaint that where an investigation should actually take place, or where, external people need to be involved in making sure that these are looked after, and, involving any disputed facts there. So, and I guess the big one here is, seeking professional advice prior to performance managing or terminating an employee out of your operation. So really important tips there on minimising your risk, making sure that you are dealing with complaints and issues and, I guess, employment-related claims. So even though we're in the business of providing real estate services to our customers, we still have a team to manage. We still have a team to be a part of, depending on where you fit into that whole cycle. And we need to make sure that that's working in the most effective way possible. But guys, have a look at that article. Really, really interesting. And I will be doing a few insurance-related interviews with Peter over the next few months. And, obviously we'll be popping those on LinkedIn and through all of our socials and on our website. So I look forward to getting some more information in that area.